as I'm doing a ward round on my second day, I'm just hearing this guy coughing in the bay. I'm walking around, and next minute the coughing just stops. I went back there, he'd coughed and aspirated, so he coughed so much, stopped breathing, and gone into respiratory arrest.
Mr. Emeka, it's become tradition now to start off these series with a 25-second life summary challenge. You might have seen it before, but basically what I need you to do is summarize your life from birth to where you are now in 25 seconds.
Okay, 25 seconds.
Are you ready? I've got a timer.
Right.
I've got a timer right here. And go.
Alright, so originally born in Nigeria, father's a surgeon, emigrated here to the UK, kind of raised halfway in England, 10 years in Scotland, came back to England, did secondary school, all boys grammar school here, went to uni, did medical school. From medical school, did little bits and pieces, some modeling, a little bit of TV stuff, loads and loads of sports. From there, went into medicine as a doctor, went on a television show, did a couple of videos with the BBC, and hey, now we're here.
I like that summary. That was good. I actually don't know if that's 25 seconds or not, but it was a good summary. It was a good summary.
I hope. It seemed a little longer. Yeah, did I managed to put, I was thinking, because I thought the timer was going to go off.
Nah.
So, okay, 25. We can shorten it if we need to. Yeah,
you've got some good stuff in there. At what point did you realise that you wanted to become a doctor?
So for me, actually, it was very interesting. So obviously being brought up in like a medical background, my father being a doctor, his father kind of being a doctor, and so and such and so forth, I kind of knew about medicine very early. I kind of knew what it took, but I had, you know, the Nigerian boy's dream of being a sportsman. I wanted to be a football player at one point. I wanted to be a basketball player at one point.
How tall are you again?
6'6". So I'm 6'6". So I thought, you know what?
You're not small.
Yeah, I'm not too small. I was like, Kobe was 6'6", MJ was 6'6". I could do it.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to do athletics. I was running quite seriously in 100, 200 meters, like in my school and stuff. But then I kind of realized around times when you start making decisions around 17, I thought, you know what, the athlete dream is not as concrete as going into medicine. I was doing quite well in my studies too. So my dad was like, you know what, if you weren't doing well in your studies, it'd be an easy choice. We'd throw you into this, but you're doing quite well, so we want you to stick with medicine, see where it goes. Like, and it suited my personality. I was competitive. I like science. I like to help people. I was kind of altruistic in that sense. And so I was like, you know what, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do the rest of my life. That's it.
I love that. What would you say it takes, traits-wise, to go along that route? Because I remember when I did work experience when I was 17 at a hospital, I was like, I can't do this. I definitely can't do this. My dad's a doctor as well. But what traits would you say that you would need to even think about going into that career?
I think you need a lot of patience for one. You need to know that in medicine, things don't happen overnight. It's all a long process. You need a lot of determination, a lot of discipline. Like, med school will teach you discipline. If you don't know discipline, you'll learn it in medical school, because they don't wait for you. People do get left behind, people do drop out, and people do get kicked out, essentially. So you have to learn to be disciplined, you have to learn to be organized, you have to learn to be on it and determined. If you're not trying to be the best, you're not trying to push yourself to be great in medicine, you will fall behind. Everyone's trying to get that step forward in medical school.
There's a lot of competition for it then.
Very competitive.
I mean, what is that route towards, I know it's a long route, but towards getting that DR at the beginning of your name, the doctor, because you do the A-levels and then it's med school, but talk to me a little bit about what med school actually entails.
So even before med school, there's a process, a big process. So before med school, you have to obviously do your work experience, get a lot in terms of that done, set yourself apart from your peers at the lower sixth form. So this is like year 12.
Wow. Already started to prepare.
Just after GCSEs, you start preparing. In that, they prepare you, your UCAS. I remember it was your UCAS application.
Yeah, the UCAS
actually comes.
System.
Your UCAS application, your deadline is actually before everyone else's.
Wow.
So everyone's deadline was in like January. If you're applying for medical school or applying for Oxbridge, yours is in October.
Wow.
So you need to have that known.
You just start school for like 1 month and you've already got to have a deadline.
So you need to, by summer, that summer before, in sixth form, you need to be cranking on. And by that summer, you need to have all your experience done, and then a number of exams you need to take before you even get into medical school.
Wow. Like specifically for med school?
Yeah, specifically for med school. Like the UK CAT. The UK CAT exam is a national exam where everyone going into medicine has to take, I think, for all 33 med schools in the UK. And then there's something called a BMAT as well, which is another exam that specific medical schools take. I think like Oxbridge, UCL, Imperial.
Yeah.
It's another exam you need to do. And then after that, providing you get good scores, you get called for an interview. You'll do a medical interview. And this is all while you're doing your A-levels. And then they'll give you provisional A-level results. So 3 A's, an A star and an A, etc., etc., etc.
Like predicted almost.
Yeah,
or...
similar to your predicted grade, but these are your requirement grades.
Got you.
So the course will usually, generally cross border, you'll need 3 A's.
Okay.
Usually in 2 sciences and maths, or 3 sciences, or 2 sciences and something else. And so you'll be getting those, and then by the end of it, you'll get your A levels. If you've got an interview or an offer, you'll accept it, and then you go to medical school. And then during medical school, the real work happens.
And that's just the start, basically. Okay, cool.
Man.
So at university, I felt that the medics partied the hardest. I'm not joking when I say this. I just felt all the doctors were out the most. How did you balance your time at university of enjoying yourself with such a sort of laborious, hard degree? I've always wanted to ask that question, like, because you guys party hard.
That's the thing. So. I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those guys. I was very much enjoying life. I was very much enjoying my life. So the thing is the medics know what it takes. You know what's required. So you know when to work, you know when to play. I think it's just knowing that is enough. So we worked very, very hard. Lots of hours in the library, man. Lots of hours in the library. But at the same time, when it came to party, the medics would take it that much further because they knew to savor these moments. Like some of the other humanity courses got like time off and like stuff like reading week. If you had like reading week, stuff like that.
Basically,
so they get time off to
do what you want to do. Basically.
Medics didn't have that. So anytime you get to party, medics would go take full advantage. And I think that was it, because we worked so hard. We had to play so hard to balance it out. Whereas other people can work, like they had coursework. A lot of people had coursework and dissertations. So stuff that
international relations. So
so it's
I never had lectures.
So you had stuff like during the year you can have, whereas medics it's like exam this time, exam this time, exam this time, and in between it, projects and courseworks and research and analytical reviews and SSS and different selected studies and it was all over the place. So once we got the opportunity, you have to find that balance. Definitely, 100%.
So you then obviously graduated. How did the junior doctor's opportunity come about? Because that's when I first noticed you. I was like, "Whoa, who's this 6'6" guy on TV?" Like, how did that all come about?
So that's quite funny actually. It was actually really, really random. A lot of people think like I was handpicked and chosen and stuff like that. It wasn't really that case. Luckily, the place where I was doing my first ever medical job in Wolverhampton in New Cross as an F1, they just happened to be filming the show Junior Doctors, which they'd already done 3 previous series. They took a hiatus for a bit, like 4 years, and then they were back. And they said they want to do it at my hospital because we had quite a new A&E, and they thought that we had quite a fresh cohort. I think they'd done some headhunting and some research. They realised that F1s were quite fresh. We were all very diverse. They put it out there. They were like, there was a big mass email in one of our F1 meetings, and like, there's a show coming, who wants to do this? And I was like, hey, I put my name forward. Slipped my name into that hat, and next minute I got a call. They're like, we want you to do a casting interview, this. I think they'd been on my Facebook and done some research because they knew a lot of stuff I'd done at uni.
Got you.
They're like, you were at uni, you were on Take Me Out.
You want to take me out?
And you auctioned up.
I didn't know that.
Loads of random stuff. And they knew like I'd done modelling and bits and sports. And they're like, so you were a sports rep? I was like, how do you know all this stuff? Like, you must have done
their research.
But the casting team did, I think. And from there, they were like, can you talk about this? Like, what would you portray if we put you on TV, national TV? And I was like, I do my job. I do it in such a way that people want to see it. And they're like, okay, all right. They wrote something down, and I was like, all right, I'm in.
I like
and
that.
And then, then I got a call, like, we want to film it, let's crack on.
And the sort of Nigerian Prince tagline came along shortly after that. Where did that sort of nickname come from, and what's the sort of story behind that?
Okay, so that was interesting. So back, obviously, for you and others who might not know about Nigeria, we have many provinces with, kings and princes.
Almost
almost like mayors. Almost like mayors or governors or whatnot. So my grandfather was like the mayor governor. He's the Eze, what we call in Igbo land, of like a
I'm Yoruba.
Exactly. So a big province in a place called Mbalayi Sochi. And so he's a boss man. He's a big man there in terms of like, you go into kind of our village in our kind of local government area, you see a big sign with his name to the palace of His Royal Highness HRH, EI Okorocha.
His Right Honourable.
Yeah, exactly. And so those are my initials as well.
Okay.
Those are also my dad's initials. As being the first son, it was kind of passed down.
Okay.
Almost a thing like royalty. So I was always known like as a prince, like an heir to our throne.
Because I thought it was just like I'm a prince.
Dynasty. Yeah. It's not like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or West Philly Prince given. It's like a title. Prince. Yeah, like there's cutlery and stuff and like a throne with my initials in it.
Yeah.
And stuff back in Nigeria is quite a thing. Obviously here it's not really recognized, but back in Nigeria, it's quite a thing. Yeah. Cool. In our area. So that's where the Prince title
came from. You definitely got to use that on Nights Out. That's an impressive line to drop.
Here and there. People, like you say that, people think it's like Coming to America. I'm gonna have the limos come out, but
I'm not gonna say my favorite line from that movie, but
exactly. You know what I mean? Those lines. Yeah, it'd be like Prince Hakim's here. People used to take the mic all the time. Look at Prince Hakim. All right, where your lions and stuff, Prince Hakim.
Yeah.
So
it's a good line to have, though, definitely. As far as the sort of viral video that came about now, because I remember asking before we sat down, how did that happen, and where does that story originate from, as far as the hangover cure, because that did numbers. It did numbers.
So it did. It was crazy. So what happened was during the show, I think this was whilst we were just getting ready to release the show. I think they'd done the first episode online. And they'd had a number of like comments about me from female viewers. You kind of get where I'm going from. And then our executive producer, Catherine Patrick, KP, she's really cool. She was like, obviously they know, I wouldn't say like I'm a party boy, but they know I like to have a good time. And they say we feel like you appeal to the youth.
Definitely.
It'd be good if like we can get something fun yet medical about, let's say like hangover cures or something like that. And I was like, hangover cures? That just might work. And so they hired out a place and like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to get ingredients and we're going to have you making like these random remedies, like these old school remedies to cure hangover. And then obviously you know the biology and the science behind the ingredients, like the carbs, the banana, the fructose and the tomatoes and everything like that. And then you can explain it and like make it sassy, make it cool. They're like, Emeka, make it you. Like they're like, they told me the line was, Emeka, put some Emeka flavor on it. And I was like, leave it to me. We're good. Definitely. And so we filmed it. Later, obviously, I didn't know when it was released or anything. One of my friends who was actually on a show, Osama, he hit me up and he was like, bro, your hangover thing's come out and it's blowing up low key. And I was like, really? It's like, come on. And he's like, yeah. I saw it on Facebook kind of the same as everyone else. But I was in it and I scrolled down and read some of these comments. And I was just like,
hello.
Whoa, okay. Okay. I was like, okay, let's do some rounds. And literally then
I was in some of the comments as well. There's some thirst in those comments.
There's some real
thirst in those comments.
I had to sprinkle some water on my laptop a little bit.
Literally, man.
I was like, this is interesting. And then from there, obviously, papers were hitting me up like, can you do an interview and explain your reasoning behind this? What is it about these hangover things? And then from there, it went to Nigeria. It went on the Nigerian gossip blogs, and that famous blogger, Linda Ikechi, wrote a blog on it. And then it circulated around. Nigerian social media was kind of blowing up, and it kind of circulated around there. And then I had loads of Nigerian fans kind of hitting my DMs like, Dr Emeka, we want to I was like, okay, all right, we're doing international rounds.
Freshie ads that you get on Facebook sometimes. You must have had 100 of them.
I had a few of them. Like, they never get old,
Oh my God. What do you actually start doing from day one in F1 and F2? Is it called? Foundation years.
So F1 is your first foundation year. It comprises of 12 months split into 3 rotations, each 4 months, and in them you'll do probably a mix of medicine and surgery. And literally you're pretty much going at it from the get-go. It's a lot of responsibility.
Like, what are you just throwing in straight at the deep end, basically?
So from it depends, it's very different depending on what job you're in. So if you start in obs and gynae, it'll be different to if you start in general surgery, which will be different if you start in ENT, ears, nose, and throat, or orthopedics, or renal medicine like I did. Literally, I was doing ward rounds pretty much by myself on my second day. By my second day. So a ward round is when in the morning you go and you'll see the patients, you'll go through the notes, you'll be like, okay, what's the plan for this patient? Is the plan being carried out? what the blood tests, you'll examine the patient.
And that's you without
yourself.
supervision.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and then later you'll go report to the consultant and he'll just be like, are there any concerns? Or he'll ask you what's going on with patient bay 1, what's going on with patient bay 2, and you'll kind of go through it. As I'm doing a ward round on my second day, I'm just hearing this guy coughing in the bay. I'm walking around, and next minute the coughing just stops. I was like,
what's going on
that's
here?
Abrupt. I went back there, he'd coughed and aspirated, so he coughed so much he'd vomited, inhaled his vomit, stopped breathing, and gone into respiratory arrest.
On your second day?
Yeah, on my second day.
Oh,
so I had to pull the emergency buzzer, get the suction, start suctioning the man's vomit out of his mouth, at the same time get the nurse to do that, and then start compressions, just like that. And just like that, immediately cardiac arrest protocol had to come straight in.
Wow.
Like,
that's your second day?
So literally, second day.
Yeah.
Just as I was about to go to lunch. Crazy, yeah. And you're expected to know exactly what to do. Like, you're a doctor. You're expected to know exactly what to do. It comes with the title.
How do you deal with that pressure when you're... Because that's obviously your first experience of dealing with that situation in real life.
Instinctive, yeah. In medical school, you learn it so much over and over and over, it has to become second nature. You have to be able to do it without thinking. Almost like asking a footballer, how do you deal with the pressure of a penalty in the Champions League final? You have to take so many in training that you could do this with your eyes closed. It becomes muscle memory, second nature. And that's kind of what happened to me. It just became second nature. It was almost like a drill. Almost like the patient was a dummy.
Wow.
Like we did it on SimMan hundreds of times. Almost like, okay, this is what I have to do. All right, remember the protocol. Let's go.
Straight away after that.
And he lived. So.
Whoa! Congratulations.
Yeah.
On that,
so I was happy with that. I was like, what?
You need to be a certain type of person to be able to deal with that pressure.
I think you do, and a lot of medics, although you seem cut out to be that kind of person, you won't know if you are until it happens, until it really hits you. Because I've seen people break in those situations.
I was just about to ask that. Have you seen doctors who have struggled to deal with a situation like that?
Yes, we had
on their first year or something like that.
First year, even deep into your career. So there was, obviously I'm not going to go into names, but there was a lady she's deep into what we call registrar level. So deep into her senior training in A&E, accident emergency. And we had 2 kids come in who were found non-responsive, 2 twins. And it turns out they'd been smothered by their mother, who was severely dependent on the mental health team, and she was having big issues. She smothered them. They come in basically in a cardiac arrest situation.
Yeah.
And those kids eventually didn't make it.
Wow.
2 twins, I think 18 months apiece. And one of the senior registrars was so broken by the whole ordeal of seeing these 2 kids dead that she couldn't work in Peds A&E the next day.
Wow.
So I actually had to swap shift with her, and I had to go work in pediatrics A&E because she couldn't see any more children. She said, I just can't see kids right now until I've recovered that. Because whenever I see kids, all I see is those 2 dead children. And she's very senior in her job, and it still gets her to this day. So it shows you that no matter how many deaths you see and no matter what you see on your daily basis, there's always a chance you are human.
Yeah, of course.
And seeing another life taken like that, especially so young, is always going to affect you.
Definitely.
And that's kind of what happened with her, unfortunately. And it can happen with me, and any other.
It can happen to anybody. Well, that leads on to the next question. What would you say was the most challenging thing about your role? I mean, you've touched on those situations, but is there anything else that you would say was a really challenging aspect of it?
For me, I think balancing your social life and any other life you want to have outside of medicine. I thought it was going to be tough at uni, which it was, but it was doable. When it got to actual being a doctor, literally everything cut. All my sports were gone.
Yeah.
My social life was pretty much gone. Those first couple of months, literally, I was just going to work and coming home, sleeping. And going to work and coming home and sleeping. I didn't even have the energy to go to the gym. Like in the first couple of months, you're still finding your feet, so your days are long. It's not like 9 to 5 like other jobs when you can clock out. You can't really clock out in medicine.
No, you can't.
You leave when everything's kind of done.
Yeah.
And so you might finish at 5, but you might not actually leave till 8 or 9. And that was happening to me day in, day out for at least like 2 months on the renal ward because it was just that busy.
Crazy.
And like you couldn't leave. You physically couldn't leave because these people are there and they need you to be there.
Yeah,
because there's someone on call, but they won't be able to hack all that work from the day and cover it. So you stay there and get it done. And that was probably the toughest bit
And you managed to sort of...
Yeah, after a while you manage how to do stuff in systematic order. You understand the protocol, you understand the process, you understand how the whole hospital works, and then things get smoother and slicker. But it's still very busy. And that's probably the hardest bit. And night shifts and stuff like that, your sleeping pattern going left and right. Yeah. That's probably the toughest bit.
I mean, that does that tie a little bit into why there was that doctor strike back in 2016? Because I hear junior doctors are worked.
Yeah.
My dad tells me all the time.
That's the thing. Yeah. Junior doctors weren't happy because a lot of how the NHS actually still functions to this day is based on goodwill alone. Like, if junior doctors started walking out when they should from shifts, the NHS would be under serious pressure. I know hundreds of doctors, and myself included, who have stayed to do things just out of goodwill because moral responsibility. We have to stay and get things done. Yeah. But legally, we aren't liable to actually be here at any hour when we're not being paid. But almost, I don't think you'll ever find a junior doctor who hasn't stayed for an hour or two and not been paid for it. Yeah. Just like that. And so, because of that, when the strikes came in, I mean, I was a final year medical student. Yeah. So I couldn't really strike. I tried to say, hey, I'm not going to this lecture. I'm striking. They're like, you better bring your ass to this lecture, boy. You better be at that lecture if you want to finish this course. Yeah. You want to graduate? You better be at that lecture. Yeah. So it came to a point where a lot of these juniors just like, we already do so much. We already feel underappreciated. Yeah. It's giving a negative stigma to the public because it's making us look greedy and this. But really, we're suffering enough. They're going to take our pay down for all the extra hours we're doing in the evening. So unsociable hours changed. So before it used to be unsociable hours after maybe 6 p.m. or so, and then it went to 7, 8 p.m. After that was unsociable. So you were required to work to 7, 8 on a weekday, and it was normal. You get normal pay for it. Whereas that didn't happen before. We had something called banding in place. Okay. So if you're working unsociable hours or nights or weekends, or what deemed unsociable, your pay was at a different rate. Okay, and they took that away. They kind of took that away. They kind of cut some of that. Yeah, and that's why Jeremy Hunt was getting death threats. They cut some of that, and then they just required us. It just broke down the morale of the whole medical field. Yeah. A lot of junior doctors felt hard done by. A lot of people wanted to leave. Yeah, people were finding ways out of the profession, going to different countries. Yeah, it was just really bad, and they kind of justified it through no means at all. They kind of justified it saying that it's not the 24-hour NHS and that a lot more people die on weekends and on nights, and which isn't the case. So obviously for working there, it's just not the case at all. Of course, And doctors, and the thing is, doctors were still working weekends. There's never a time you'll go into an empty hospital. Yeah. Everyone will still work night shifts and weekends, but they made it out to seem like the people doing that, it's not enough. Yeah. Where do you see yourself in the long term? What's your legacy? What do you want to be, let's say, in 10, 15, 20 years' time? That's a good question. So my plan is, I'm not exactly sure what specialty I'm going to go into, but my plan is to leave my legacy on health. I want to impact health. I'm quite big into public health and speaking. I'd like maybe a platform in the future where I can speak about health. Definitely. Where I can influence my patients, maybe via social media, via television, via shows, via public health, in the office, etc. I was thinking potentially I could do general practice, potentially even A&E. I'm thinking of obviously doing a lot of health work in Africa. Yeah. I want to start an initiative with some colleagues where we want to try and identify some of the problems in African healthcare and eventually Caribbean healthcare in third world type countries. Definitely. And then think how we can use what we've learned here in such an incredible educational system to implement back there. Okay, so this is what we do in this country, and it all works fine, and there's the mortality rate, this morbidity rate. How do we implement that in this country? How can we improve it? Definitely. And then possibly get in talks with governments about improving healthcare, because obviously it's a basic need to live, to be healthy. Yeah, it's one of the fundamentals. It's a fundamental human right. Exactly, fundamental human right. So we want it to be as much of a human right as it is here in all these other places, in all our countries, because that's where our parents are from, and that's where our aunties and uncles live. And definitely. You know what I mean? My dad complains about the system in Nigeria all the time. Exactly. The fact that the president came here to get treated tells you everything you need to know. Obviously, I'm not going to go too much into politics, because that will be a long conversation. Would be a long conversation. Maybe another time. That kind of said all it needed to say about our healthcare system back home. Definitely. And so I'm hoping that I feel like I won't feel my job is truly done unless I do something substantial about that in my career anyway. So how I'm going to do that, I'm not 100% sure exactly, but I have some ideas.
It all starts with a mission.
All starts with one idea. All starts with a goal. The goal is to improve it. Let's see how we do it. And that's how we're going to go.
Love it, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No problem.